Hello members of the SCAW and EFED forum zones. This is Jamo, Mr. Jamo on the EFED boards, Dylan, Jamo, Jamison on the SCAW boards, and I'm here to do my Q&A. I got the idea from VPark, the user who created the intros for NXT-X for me, and does multiple videos relating to SCAW. Now I've got 10 questions from 3 users. Not what I wanted, but it'll do. Before I start answering, I just wanted to prove something to all of you. Now, some people have claimed that my sister is fake. Well, I've got her here to prove that incorrect. Come here, Jess.
Hello.
Now you all know that she's real. Now, here are the questions. The first one is from boobzilla, and his question is, do you think Godzilla will ever wrestle in SCAW? boobzilla is a huge Godzilla fan, and he asked this question with VPark, and VPark gave his opinion, and now it's time for me to give mine. Now, I don't believe Godzilla will ever wrestle in SCAW, because personally I just don't see it working. He's like over 500 pounds, over 2,000 feet tall or something, and I just don't see it really working. But if he does get into SCAW, boobzilla, your petition type thing has been successful, and I hope he does you good. Now, question number 2 is also from boobzilla, and this question is, in your opinion, who is the greatest core ever? Now, the only real core show that I've watched is SCAW, but I have been trying to find some older core leagues like No DQ core and everything else, but I can't really find the videos. So in regards to this question, it's going to be based on SCAW cores, and I believe that Batman is the greatest core ever. I mean, he was the first Triple Crown and Grand Slam champion in SCAW, to my memory. He had a great heel run by aligning with the Joker, and I just believe that everyone else is kind of inferior to him, because I'm a Batman mark. I just love Batman. The third question is also from boobzilla, and the question is, if you read DWA, do you think Darth Maul should get a shot at SCAW since he's built so well and over with the SCAW fan base? Personally, I haven't really read an episode of DWA since like the first episode, because I got really busy with NXT-X. I started my own fan fiction based on heroes. I've been trying to get my WWE 2K14 universe finished so that I can start on 2K15 when that comes out in about a week or so. But I know how hard boobzilla worked to get Darth Maul into SCAW through the Choose the Superstar game on the SCAW boards, and admittedly I didn't vote for Maul every week, but because I was too busy voting for some other people that I wanted to see get further. But if there had been able to, I would have continued voting Maul to get in. Admittedly, I did say one Star Wars character is enough in Anakin, but if Darth Maul ever got into SCAW, I'd see him playing the villain role while he like manipulates Anakin to do his dirty work, kind of storyline. So yeah. And the fourth question is the last one from boobzilla, and the question is, who's your favorite wrestler in the old generation, the New Generation, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, and the PG Era. I can tell you now, the old generation era, which is like Hulkamania, Runs Wild type thing. Admittedly, I wasn't alive to watch that, but from playing the 30 Years of WrestleMania mode in 2K14, I got really used to playing as Hulk Hogan. So he'd be my favorite wrestler in the old generation, tied with Ric Flair. As for the new generation, say hello to the bad guy, Reza Ramon Chico. The Attitude Era, this is where I started loving wrestling. My favorite Attitude Era wrestler for WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it nowadays, was easily Undertaker. But the Attitude Era side of, like, the equivalent of WCW to answer the Attitude Era of WWF, it was Goldberg when he started, and then Crow Sting when, he debuted. As for the Ruthless Aggression Era, admittedly, I was a bit of a John Cena fan, but I was always a fan of Eddie Guerrero with his lying, cheating, and stealing. I just hate that he died earlier than what he should have, but what's done's done. And there's also Chris Benoit there, who I believe is completely innocent. As for the PG era, I gave up following as soon as it turned PG. I'm more of a TNA guy now, but out of the PG era, from what I've been playing in the games, it's Zack Ryder. He got himself over with the fans without the help of backstage or the backing of like the producers and whatnot. Now this next question is from user phantomspydj, and this question is, how would you fix or improve both the WWE and TNA? Personally, I'd fix the WWE by getting rid of the PG and going back to TV14 at least. Not the Attitude Era, because we all know that it'll never get back to be as good as it was. So I'd move it back to TV14 and push people that actually deserve to be pushed. I'd move like Cena and Orton out of the main event and let other people have a shot, like Ryback and all that. So, and as for TNA, I'd try and find him a sponsor personally, like someone with big money like Donald Trump to try and sponsor us to get us out there, and I'd get rid of Dixie Carter. Yep. His next question is, which characters would you like to see in SCAW that aren't on the roster? The two that I'd love to see in SCAW are the two guys I represented in Choose the Superstar 4 and Choose the Superstar 5, Quentin Rampage Jackson and Carl Johnson from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I mean, I pushed and pushed as far as I could physically go. Well, not really physically, but you get what I mean. Trying to get Carl to at least the final 5. I knew with guys like Dick Tracy, Darkseid, Kenshin, that I wouldn't get that far, but I tried to get him as far as I could by posting like different gimmicks for him and all that. I even had a theme song for him in my signature, which is like it's like a rap that he does in the credits of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas or something. I've never finished the game, so I wouldn't know. As for Rampage Jackson, I've worked my ass off and Choose the Superstar 5, and I was a little pissed that I was eliminated before Kid Muscle, considering the user that was representing Kid Muscle really hardly did anything. I had Rampage, I gave Rampage multiple storylines and posted them. I had his theme music in my signature, some finishes in my signature, and all that. So I believe I'd bring in Rampage Jackson to feud with Ivan Drago to make Drago kind of relevant again. He could even be the Brock Lesnar of SCW, like go undefeated for a little while. Eventually face Urlacher should he still be undefeated and break the streak. So yeah. Number 7 is minus the E-Fed. If you could, would you create your own core league? This is a good question, Phantom. And as some fans know, I did originally want to make my own core league, WCCW, World Class Core Wrestling, back in like 2007, but I didn't have the equipment or anything, so Walter Scott suggested that I make it an E-Fed. I didn't really want to do that because it was like typing out matches and whatnot, but recently with my recent E-Fed, NXT-X, I've been thinking about trying to get the equipment and then like record all the matches on 2K15 and do a universe with it. And I wouldn't be doing the commentating because just listen to my accent. People complain not being able to understand me and whatnot. But I'd create NXT-X as a core league with like Sami Zayn, some original creations like Jack Necro, which is Mike Cross's submission to his crossverse thing from his previous league, WWEX, where Jack, aka Kaimantra, was buried alive. He came back and was given the gimmick of Jack Necro. So yeah, I hope that's good enough an answer for you there, Phantom. Now, the next 3 questions are from Walter Scott. And his first question is, what's your favorite E-Fed that I've written? Personally, I did enjoy his version of WWEX, which he wrote from August until August 2013, picking it up from SummerSlam, till about January 2014. He had multiple. He had Raw. He was originally going to have ECW as a second brand, but he couldn't find a co-writer, so instead he made a Divas only show in Total Divas. And I really enjoyed both of WWEX Raw and WWEX Total Divas. But out of my favorites, I've only really read WWEX and CWF. And just as I started really getting into CWF, you kind of quit on it. So WWEX would have to go as my favorite E-Fed. But currently, I love the work you've been doing with NXT-X Excite, which is the all-female brand for the show. Now, his next question is, what is my favorite core match of all time? This one's a hard one because I've loved quite a few core matches, but like boobzilla's question where he asked me who is the greatest core ever, I've only really watched SCAW because I couldn't really get into anything else or couldn't find the episodes. But my favorite core match was Chuck Norris versus Superman at Blood, Sweat and Tears 3, I think it was. They just combated each other very well. The edits where Norris and Superman used their super speed were greatly edited by Lone Star, and that is one of my top SCAW matches. But recently, my favorite SCAW match was Hellboy versus Inuyasha at Summer Brawl, which was technically posted in like spring or whatever, autumn, fall, whatever you want to call it. Because since Hellboy joined SCAW, I've been wanting to see Inuyasha versus Hellboy, or Inuyasha and Hellboy as the SCAW equivalent of the Brothers of Destruction. So, yeah, I want to see that happen. Please, Lone Star. Hellboy and Inuyasha to team up. Please. And the last question is, which NXT-X Sirens would you like to see as champion? In brackets it says, not anybody who has held the title. Now, for those who do read NXT-X, the Sirens are of course the women's division of the Fed NXT-X. Now, NXT-X has had quite a few Sirens champions, including Pain, which is a original creation that I created based on Daphne from TNA. Elise Angel, which is a pick base of Raby Sky, created by Mike Cross. She's a 2-time champion. There was Shoal Guerrero, who held it for a while. El West is another one, which was an original creation for Drew Teague's now defunct Diva X. And the current champion is currently Charlotte. As for the NXT Siren that I'd love to see as the champion, I'd have to choose. Let me just open the thing because I can't remember all of them. I've got a shocking memory when it comes to roster members. I'd have to say, from anybody who hasn't been the Sirens champion, I'd have to say it's easily Awesome Kong. I mean, she's one of the most dominant female wrestlers. She had an undefeated streak in NXT-X that recently came to an end at the hands of Paige, who made her submit in the Paige's tap out, which is pretty much impossible since Awesome Kong's like 400 pounds on a skinny bitch's leg. But anyway, it'd be Awesome Kong to win the NXT-X Sirens Championship and just destroy everybody that challenges her, like TNA should have done in her first reign before she was defeated by Taylor Wilde. So, yeah, that's my Q&A. It's starting to get dark now. So I hope I answered everyone's questions the best I can, and you like my answers.